I think in the previous session we were unable to do SSH due to timing constraints. So I'm going to show you how to connect connecting between local system and the remote repository using SSH. So now I'm going to create a new private repository. I think I have already created a new private repository called Connect SSH. So you can also go ahead and create. Maybe I can create another repository for you. New git pr1. It's a new repository and I'm selecting the private, obviously, and this is supposed to be here, my bad. And you write whatever the description if you want, that's fine. Since we're testing, we're just trying to understand how it works. So now as you see here, we have created the private repository. As you also can see that it is a private repository. Now first thing you need to do is to do a connection between these two repositories. All you need to do is go to a folder, any specific folder. I have created a git session folder so that I don't want to mess with my local file system by copying so many files or whatever. So now anyhow, before that I need to make sure that add a SSH keygen. So I have already opened a link here. It is from SSH Academy. Here I'm going to use this encryption type SSH RSA. There are a lot of other encryption types also, like DSA, CDSA, ED2. There are different types of encryption methods to create SSH keygen. So but I'm going to use SSH RSA. So now click here, paste here. As you see here, SSH keygen, I'm just trying to create a keygen here. The most important thing that you need to understand here is you cannot create keygens wherever you want feel like, until unless you feel if you are only the person who are using it. But still, it is strongly recommend that you need to create a new folder inside your profile always. Maybe I'll say something like this, mkdir tilt. It will actually go to your profile folder /.ssh. So you always create this directory. If it is not there, if it is there, you can simply go ahead and cd space .ssh. Since it is already there, I'm not going to press enter right now, but I've shown you the command to run mkdir tilt /.sh, which will create a .sh folder in your profile. So now I'm going to go ahead, cd space and tilt /.ssh. So .ssh, right? I was able to enter. Now I'm going to use that command, the keygen command, whatever it is, I've copied from the website. Now it will ask for a name, obviously, git prc, enter the password you need to enter here is you need to give whatever the password you want to remember. So please make sure that whatever the password you entered, right, that you should be able to remember it. Now I want to open that file. Before opening, I'll give you a list of, see the list. The file is gitprc pub and another file is gitprc. See, there are two files always. Whenever you use SSH keygen, you will always see two files. One is without .pub extension, one is with .pub extension, which means the .pub extension means public key, without .pub extension means private key. We are going to use this public key and store it in the GitHub settings, so that it will actually create a connection between local system and remote repository. So now I am going to use git. This is a sudo vi is a editor. Vi is a vim editor, so that I am actually opening it in the vim editor. Git prc .pub and open. Okay, I need to enter the password. Don't worry about this. This is happening only in Mac because it's asked for system password if you want to access any files using sudo. So that won't happen in Windows. Even if it happens, give your Windows operating system password. But so now since I've copied, right, I'm just going to go ahead and then come back here, and then what I can do, I go to settings, right, in the main settings. Don't go to the project settings, come here, go ahead and settings. Now once I click on the settings, SSH, right, SSH, add new SSH, paste, git prc, whatever the name you want to give, you can give, it doesn't matter. but this is the most important thing. Make sure that there is no extra space added here at the end of the key. Add key. So now it has been added successfully, right? Now come back to my terminal. See, for me, I'm actually using terminal. For you might be using whether Windows or Git Bash, or if you want even convenient, you can go ahead and install PowerShell. You will be able to use it even better. cd space // cd space. I want to go to my specific folder. Don't do anything in .ssh folder. That is only for your SSH keys. Now I'm going to add the private key to my local system, so that it will identify when I try to do a clone, it will identify, it will compare, and then it will give you access. SSH add, and what is the path of the file? I know the path of the file, right? Tilt /git practice git prc. So I am not going to give any .pub because it's a private file. I don't want to add a public key. I want to add a private key. That's the reason SSH add .ssh git prc. And now here I need to enter the password which I have entered when I'm creating this key. As you see here, identity added, which means you have added an identity. Now whatever the repository, right? When you use clone, it will be able to understand and find it and then do it. So now go ahead, now repository GTPR1, right? And now copy this one. Always remember, you make sure that you have selected SSH, not HTTPS, otherwise it won't work. So click on select SSH and then copy, and then here. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to say git clone paste, right? So when I press enter, it should download all the files from the server. See, warning, you appear to have a clone as an empty repository. So why? Because it is empty repository, there is nothing to clone, right? So it's not going to happen. So for the time being, I'm going to create a new file called index.html, right? And then I open HTML, blah blah blah, close HTML, head, body, come here, git practice, whatever. Oh dear. So then come down, click on the commit new file. You need to you're supposed to enter all the details, but that's fine, since to showcase you, I'm not doing anything. But usually when you are real time working, you make sure that you provide a proper comment there. Anyhow, so now since I've done this, go back again. Now try to the very same command, git clone. So it says destination path is already exists, and it is not, and it is an empty directory. See, before when you git clone, it is actually created empty folder, but there is no files, right? So now what I need to do, I have done some update to my repository. I need to do a pull request, since it is already done. Before pull request, since I need to go to that specific folder, my bad. So git pr1, which is already created because of this command here. As you see here, cloning into git pr, it's just a warning. It's not actually error. It's saying that you have done cloning, but it is an empty folder. So make sure that you are doing right. It's just giving us a warning. So which means this clone has already worked, and it was able to download the folder itself. And since there are no files, it is an empty. That's the reason when I give the same command again, it says the git pr1 is already there, so, and it's an empty directory. That's the reason. Once you clone the directory, right, you need to enter into that directory to run any git operations. Now I go ahead and say git pull. Since I have already entered, I am saying git pull. See, I was able to do git pull. Now as you go ahead and see ls, you see the index.html. Before it was not there. Okay, so now what is another thing I can do? I'm going to do some modifications to it. Sudo vi index.html, and it will ask for password. This is only for a Mac, and this is a Vim editor. You call this as a Vim editor. You don't need to worry about using Vim editor. You can go ahead and use Visual Editor and modify the file. I'm just a bit lazy to open the editor, and then so I'm doing it in the Vim editor. Go ahead, blah blah blah. Right now I have done some modifications. I say git status, see there is a modified file. I say git add index.html. I say git status, see it has been added to the stage. Now git push. Everything is already up to date, even though I have added it to the stage, but I have not committed it. Okay, this is also one of the confusion people usually do. Even I did this. So added second paragraph, enter. So now this is one of the as you can see, it's git committed added. It is asking for a git config global edit after doing my fixing identity used for this commit with. That's fine. As I just mentioned right before, whenever you open, you need to have a in our session, you remember global configuration.user, global configuration.email ID. I have not used that. That's the reason it's actually throwing a warning. That's fine. I don't mind right now. But all I want to do is, since I have committed, I'm going to do a push right now. When I do a push, what happens? See, it has been pushed to my git practice one also added to the repository, remote repository. Previously I have added through remote repository only paragraph 1, but this paragraph 2 added in our local system and pushed it to the remote repository. So that's how you will connect to the SSH and do the whatever the modifications, editing, adding, deleting, whatever the things you want to do, you can do. Okay, I hope you understand now how to connect with the SSH key. Thank you. Have a great day.